What up, everybody? Welcome back to the Cafecito and Canes program. Uh, I'll please excuse me. I apologize in advance. I am a little bit under the weather tonight. I think this is the first time I ever do a show this much under the weather, but I'm fighting through it. Um, I came with Cafecito. That's a rule for me. This is just like Abuelita used to make. This is medicine right here. But I may sneeze, I may cough, I may have to blow my nose, I might get gross up in here, but please bear with me. We'll get through it. We'll get through it together. I wanted to do a show tonight on Reese Poffenbarger, who committed. I want to say, man, it's a blur sometimes. I want to say it was yesterday or the day before, but I could be wrong. I know it was like in the last 48 hours sometimes that we picked up that commit. Wanted to come on and talk about it, and wanted to bring on a guest who very knowledgeable on this kind of thing. So yeah, let's bring him on now, and we'll talk a little bit of Reese. What's going on, brother?
What's up, man? I heard it's gonna get nasty in here today, bro.
Not for the right reasons. I got battling quite a cold right now, but the Tylenol has kicked in. I'm like, I got a burst of energy, so it's perfect timing.
All right, good.
Yeah, but yeah, man. So we picked up a quarterback commit in the portal finally after what felt like, I mean, really, it was like a month, but it probably felt like a year for Canes fans. We wanted Cam Ward, we wanted Will Howard, we wanted Caden Salter, and we probably had a chance. We probably had a chance at Will Howard if we weren't so zeroed in on one guy. But it is what it is. We pick up Reese Poffenbarger. Just to start off, man, initially, like your thoughts on the pickup. Like, how do you feel about it?
I mean, the name, man. The name says it all, right? The name is incredible, right? I mean, you're either going to win a lot of games with him or he's going to be a dud, right? That's how I feel right now. So
yeah,
yeah. Look, I like it. So I never, I'm sure you guys have heard the show before and stuff like that. Like I've never been a huge. We got to get Cam Ward. We have to get him. I love him. I'm in love with him. We have to get Will Howard. We have to get this one. We have to get that. Look, man, I'm kind of in the minority, I'm sure, where I was just like, let's get a guy that's going to come in. He's going to play well. He's going to ball out. He's going to win us some football games. He could be from, Albany for all I care. He could be from Georgia for all I care, right? So I'm in the minority where give me a quarterback that looks like he can play a little football, has won a little bit at whatever level. He's talented. He's athletic. Throw the ball around, and to be honest, these guys kicked ass in the FCS or whatever. I mean, he slung it around. He looks good. He looks like he's got a good arm. He looks like he can run a little bit. He looks like he's a little bit of a gunslinger, but he also looks like he can do some things with his legs. I mean, he's got a little bit of everything, right? The knock on him, I'm sure, is what competition has he played? Is he playing at a lower level? Blah 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 blah. All this stuff, but. Look, man, I don't know if I was ever too convinced with Ward or with Howard or with any of these. I'll be honest. I like Howard a little more than Ward, but I didn't kind of just hang my hat on one guy. Unfortunately, we had to as a fan base. We had to because, of course, Mario and that staff was just zeroed in on Ward, which I think, look, at the end of the day, was a huge mistake. They dropped the ball by just doing that. We missed out on some other opportunities. I don't want to sit here and say Poffenbarger was my number one choice either. But at the same time, I'm not sitting here thinking that that Ward was going to be the second coming of Jesus or anything like that. So I'm happy with the process. It's finally over. Well, maybe, right? Because there's still one more out there that a lot of people like. I'm being facetious here, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. You come in, compete with a guy like Jakari, and maybe another piece comes in, and Judd, and you've got some competition there. And if he wins a starting job, then good for him. That means he's doing something right. If Jakari wins it, then good for him. That means he beat out a guy that they brought in to try to unseat him. So that means he's developed. So, I'm open to all possibilities, man. I just want to win some football. I want to win some games. I want to develop my guys. I want to be able to go out there and compete against, Michigan. Look what Michigan did. Hats off to them last night. But, I want to compete with those teams. And now you've got an opportunity because you've got 12 teams coming into the playoff. I know I'm getting ahead of myself here, but you've got some opportunities. I think you need to win 10 or 11 games to even have a shot. But it's there for you, man. It's there, and and I feel like it's only getting better. And I think Mario's doing a great job. Aside from maybe the quarterback situation, it's been a little bit of a whirlwind. So I'm excited to have Reese on to have him here.
Yeah, I'm excited just for the possibility of it because,
Yeah,
like you have, I'm sure I've looked into his tape. It's good. Like
yeah,
I
it
was
is.
really pleasantly surprised and impressed with what I saw. People that I've talked to that have either played the position or they're avid film watchers. They're like, this don't sleep on this dude. Like and also a lot of people, I think a lot of the like maybe general fan base, not us who are like really in the weeds with this stuff, but the general fan base might not know. We weren't the only team kicking the tires on him.
Right.
Like, and was Middle Tennessee after? No. Big schools were looking into him, like for real. So we weren't the only ones here. It's not like we were digging like bottom of the barrel. Like, other teams were looking at him. Obviously, will he make the jump from FCS? It's a tough ask. It's really tough, but guys have done it. Like Eldridge says here, Cam Ward came from FCS. It's there is precedent for it. It has happened. Cam Ward was a 0-star recruit coming out of high school. 0. Not even rated. Nothing. 0. So, could he come here and fall flat on his face? That could totally happen. But with what I saw, with how much of a gamer I think he is, what I saw on tape, I think he could, worst case, this is the way I see it. Worst case scenario, he comes in, lights a fire under Jakari's butt. He works on his craft, and Jakari wins the job. Great. That's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, he comes in and wins the job. We hit on this prospect, and he takes off, and we got and it didn't take a lot of NIL resources, like it would have for Cam Ward. And that's the way I look at it. I think this is a very low risk, high reward scenario, and you could still get one more quarterback, as you mentioned.
Right. For me also, man, it's like we all think that we're recruiting coordinators, right? We all think, the fan base thinks that, they know more than everybody that actually does this for a living. And sometimes I sympathize and I get it and I understand the frustration. I really do, right? I think we all, whether it's Cam Ward or whether it was offensive coordinator, last year, whatever the case was, we get it. We get it. We're all fans at the end of the day, so we all understand that. But we also have to, kind of take a step back and realize that that's what we are. We're fans. We may know a little bit more than others at times. Some people may know more than us. But at the end of the day, man, like you can't trump what these talent evaluators are doing. As you mentioned, John, right? I mean, this kid was getting offers and getting, interest from some big Power 5 schools in the SEC, and in the Big 12, in different conferences. So, and another knock was the kid that committed to Georgia, right? The kid from UNLV. That's another kid that everyone's like, I don't want that guy. That guy sucks. Well, he just committed to Georgia. So, I mean, what are we talking about, right? So let's take a step back and let's realize that these kids are pretty talented. Neither you, neither me, none of us have ever seen that guy play live, Reese Poffenbarger. So we're all sitting here saying he sucks and why are they going after him and why did they wait so long? And look, he may not have been choice number 1, but he's not. I mean, he's not a bad choice. He's getting recruited by Power 5 teams. Right? So let's kind of take a step back and realize that. So I'm good with it, man. I'm good with the decision.
Yeah. No, I am too. And, you can allocate NIL resources in other areas by doing this. And Mitch says playoff or bust next season, no matter who the QB is, ? I guess that's in the form of a question. Look, when guys like Cam Ward and Caden Salter and Will Howard were available, I was thinking, you know what? First year of the 12-team playoff, definitely playoff is a possibility. Now I'm tempering my expectations a bit just because let's say Tualia does not get his waiver, because in all likelihood, if he does, we're going hard after him and, he might end up here in Miami, which I think would be a good thing. I would love it if he came here.
I think he fits the system perfectly, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, he would fit well. Grad transfer, very experienced, played in a lot of big games, big stadiums. if that doesn't happen, say, okay, JB's the quarterback and we're rolling with him. Okay. In my opinion, I think it's a year too soon for him. But say we're rolling with him. Okay. Look, he showed me enough in that bowl game, enough improvement anyway, that I was like, you know what? Hey, he might take us to like an 8-4 season next year, but I think it would be a fun, exciting 8-4 season where he's going to run all over some defenses. He's going to throw some beautiful balls. He might throw a pick six here and there, but it's going to be fun. You know what I'm saying? And it's a guy that we're developing in-house because, like, after the whole Cam Ward thing went down, I'm just like, you know what? Give me the guys that want to be here. I don't know if you feel the same way. Like, hit Jakari, Emery, they clearly want to be here. Obviously, this kid Reese wants to be. Give me the kid that wants to freaking be here.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of like guys like Cormani and guys like Terrence Lewis and all those recruitments. It's ridiculous what's going on with this kid, and I think he has overplayed his hand as well, right? So it's just not a good look for anybody all around. And to be honest with you, I feel the same way, John. Get the guys that come, that want to come in and they want to compete and they want to play here at the University of Miami. Whether it's the NIL that got you here or whether it's the school that got you here, I don't care. You wanted to be here, one way or the other. So you're here, you come in, you make the best of it, you try to develop, you try to, win some football games and play well, and that's it, man. That's all we can ask for. I think what you mentioned was really great, right? Tempering expectations a little bit. I think that people had the misconception that with Ward you were going to go 12-0, 13-0, and be in a playoff in the top four, let's say, whatever. I mean, was there a possibility? Sure. If he plays like Michael Penix did this year, then all bets are off, right? But the fact of the matter is he still has some developing to do as well. And I think all the quarterbacks in the transfer portal did. So, little by little, man, take it day by day.
Norman Fujioka, thank you again for the dono. Really appreciate it. Going to be a great show. Thanks, Jazz and John. Appreciate your loyalty, sir. I know you're always in the chat. You're always on most of our chats for the most part. So thank you for that. Just win. That's all Canes need to do. Yeah, I think, I'm saying temper expectations, but the fan base won't. That's the problem. Year 3, people are going to be expecting wins.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know, man. I could totally see this going a lot like Mario's last season at Oregon, where, yeah, he might not have had – I mean, I thought Anthony Brown, I think was his name, his last quarterback. Mm-hmm. I thought he did – people were saying he was trash. I thought he did a solid – he wasn't Justin Herbert, but I thought he did a solid enough job, as long as you have somebody managing the game this year, can make plays with his legs, keep plays alive, doesn't throw the game away. You never know. You could possibly go out and go 9-3. I'm not expecting it. I'm keeping my expectations low, but we'll see what happens.
It's too early to tell.
Way too early. Yeah.
I think we got to see them play a little bit in the spring, and even then, at the end of the day, you just want to see them continue to compete, and win some more games than the last year. And look, to be honest with you, I think it's more than just the quarterback, man. Like this coaching staff has a lot of developing to do too, and it's the head guy more than anything else. The head guy's got some developing to do. He's got some things that he needs to work out as well, and it's not just quarterback. We got a lot of things that we need to address in the off season, and I think that Mario did a great job in recruiting, and he's still doing a great job in the transfer portal. So. You got to let it play out a little bit and see what happens. But I'm excited about it. I'm always excited about it, though.
Yeah, no, me too. Seeing what Michigan did last night, just reminds me that, okay, what Mario's trying to do, it works. It's you have to stick with it long enough. Now, I know people are going to argue, well, Michigan, he got there and right off the bat, he won 10 games. Okay, it's not the same thing. It's apples and oranges. People have to remember, and this is important, that Miami had zero financial backing before 2 years ago. Zero. Whereas Michigan had all the financial backing, the facilities, they had everything. So I'm sorry, you're comparing apples and oranges. That's just my 2 cents on the whole thing. Let me see. I think somebody had a question for you, Jasmine. Oh, here it is. Ian Coleman. Jazz, would you rather have us just picked up CJ Bailey, or would you prefer Poffenbarger?
Right now, at this point, I would have preferred Poffenbarger, and I'll tell you why. I think CJ Bailey's another kid that still needs to develop as well. So he's a couple of years away, right? Whereas potentially Poffenbarger could come in right away and bridge that gap, right? We still need that guy to bridge that gap. I agree with you, John. I'm not under. I don't think JB is fully ready yet. You've seen the development. Actually, I'm very impressed with how he's developed. Looked a lot better. He looked, to be honest with you, had they gone a different route, I will probably, based off of what I saw, seeing him play we might have had a shot against some of these teams as opposed to. And it's not a knock on Emery because I think Emery showed a lot of heart, he showed a lot of toughness, but JB looks like the more polished quarterback already. And so I know there was a lot of other circumstances there, but the point is that I think that Poffenbarger coming in and competing right away with JB and potentially being the starter here down the road, a guy with experience, a guy with a lot of games under his belt. He's won a lot. He's thrown a lot of touchdowns, thrown for a lot of yards. He's got moxie. He's got a little bit of that, that oomph that you want from a quarterback, that leadership. I think he has a great opportunity to come in and be successful, whereas CJ Bailey was going to take a couple of years, and you can't set yourself back like that and not having someone to be able to bridge that gap. I think Poffenbarger or even Tagovailoa, if he comes in, could be that guy that bridges that gap. You still need that. And if not, you're going to be put in a position where you're going to hang your hat on JB only and expect to develop all these other guys. And that's going to make or break Mario Cristobal. I think right now gives him that time to continue to develop those guys and potentially have a really good player in Poffenbarger or even Tagovailoa. So I'm definitely taking Reese on that.
No, I 100% agree. I don't think CJ Bailey, he could be good. I don't think he's at least a couple of years away. Right. Still very raw. Bye Bosworth says, all I know is Mady has got the QB from Texas. He's talking about Malik Murphy. Mm-hmm. And we go get a guy from Albany, New York. I don't know why the location matters, but if Cristobal's rolling with his QB room, this will seal his fate. Like we've been saying, man, I think it's a low ceiling, high floor kind of situation right now, the way it is for 2024. Right. I think Emery and JB both have high ceilings still, especially JB, but that's what I'm saying. Temper your expectations. I don't think we backslide. And that goes into my final question now for you. But I don't think we backslide going into 2024 because the way this thing is being built from the trenches out, loading it up with talent on top of talent on top of talent, it's going to be hard for us to, unless we just have a rash of bad luck with injuries. I don't see us backsliding in year 3. I'm praying that doesn't happen. That would suck. But yeah. So how are you feeling overall? Going into year 3 now, 2 straight top 10 recruiting classes. The portal's about to get very busy, I think, for Miami. Just roster overall. How are you feeling going into year 3? Are you a little nervous? Or are you pretty comfortable saying no? I think we see improvement again year to year.
Yeah, I still think you're going to see improvement. I still think that he's still developing the depth around the football program. He's had to replace a couple of guys already. Replacing Matt Lee with Zach Carpenter was a big move, I think. The defensive tackles has been a question mark. You got C.J. Clark and Marley Cook, probably, 2 of the best transfer portal tackles in this year's class. So he's addressed that. He's bringing in the number 1 defensive line in recruiting as well from a high school perspective. He's bringing in the number 1 recruiting class at wide receiver as well. And then he's mixing it up with some big-time running backs, right, with Jordan Lyle and Humphrey Wheatley, or Wheatley Humphrey. I don't know. I don't know anymore that guy. Yeah. But,
I think it's Wheatley Humphrey, yeah.
Wheatley Humphrey, there you go, Wheatley Humphrey. And some of the other guys that he's bringing in, I think that he's poised for another year of having a really good team. And look, the schedule is going to play a big part in that, right? So we'll see how good the teams are that we play. A lot of people think that it's just us. And everything needs to fall in place for you to be successful in college football. You got to win some games. You got to win some of the tough ones. You can't drop some of these close ones. You got to do better as a coaching staff as well. And I think that Miami's going to do that. He's building depth around positions. He's going to have to replace some All-Americans and some NFL guys, but I think that he's got the talent on this team to be able to do that. And like you said, the transfer portal is just going to start heating up now for them. So I'm pretty excited for what he's going to be able to do. And I think that the maturity of this team, you're going to see it. You're going to start to see them just build off of that. And it's not necessarily age; it's more maturity and the culture that Mario's bringing in. He needs to get some stuff fixed. I won't let him, get by without realizing that he's got work to do as well as a coach. That staff has work to do as a coach, as a staff altogether. If they don't do that, they're going to potentially drop some games that they shouldn't either because they mismanage the clock or whatever it is, right? They got to do a better job as well. I think that if they put it together, I think they can be successful and win 10, 11 games this year.
Yeah. Definitely don't be giving up an easy, a win that you have in the bag by not taking a knee. Don't do that anymore. I think with the flack he got after that, I think he learned his lesson, hopefully.
I hope so.
I would hope, because it was bad. Like, Fox News wrote an article about it, like, not even their sports column. Like, it went mainstream.
So
freaking, yeah. And, like, saving your timeouts until there's, like, 30 seconds left on the clock. It's like, bro, that's not how you use your timeouts. But whatever. Stuff like that. But, if we're ramming the ball down people's throats and we got a 2-touchdown lead at the end of the game, that stuff matters less. That's the other thing that you got to look at. So I think we're going to start to see a little bit more of that, start to, dominate the Virginias of the world and not go to overtime against them. Things like that. You might not see a huge uptick in the record, but I think you'll see more of that if that makes sense.
Well, the truth is some of those teams we lost to. So you may see the difference in record, right? You may see now Georgia Tech, instead of getting in a close game and having to worry if he's going to kneel or not, if you're kicking their ass, then you got an easy W there, and that's the difference.
That's true.
The difference from 2 years ago was we didn't know how to win. We would lose, and we lose ugly, and we lose sloppy. Right? There was no culture. There was no discipline. Then last year, we were learning how to win. We won some of the tough games. We lost some of the tough games, or some of the easy games that maybe we should have won, but we didn't get blown out. We didn't make really bad mistakes, right, to cause us to get blown out by any team. And we won a couple of games that, maybe we shouldn't have, maybe a Texas A&M game, things like that. So now you're moving to a different phase where now you got to win these tough games, and then you got to dominate the inferior teams. And that's where we're at. If we can get to that point, then we're going to win some more games, and we're going to be better for sure.
Definitely. I know you got to go soon, Jazz, but yeah, let them know. I know you got a show coming up. Is it on your Six Rings Cane show?
Yes, sir. Yeah, tonight. We usually go on Monday nights, but the national championship game kind of backed everything up. So
Gotcha.
everybody's doing their thing today. So if you don't catch it live, go ahead and catch it on the podcast. So our podcast platform is great anywhere. Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you get your podcast, go ahead and listen there or rewatch after the rewatch crew. We love you guys too. So go ahead and do that.
For sure. All right, man. Appreciate you.
Man.
Thank you. But yes, the era of Poff is among us.
The era of Poff, baby.
Yeah. So man, thanks for coming on. Thank you guys for on the chat. 117 on the live chat. Please hit that like button and subscribe. But yeah, talk to you guys next time. Take care.